glad you liked Indelible. I sent it to you because I noticed that your father had Alzheimer's.
Yes. Yeah.
And I've been surprised by how many people are touched by Alzheimer's, no matter what age. Somebody has a grandparent or a great grandparent, or it's so pervasive that the film really spoke to way more people than I thought it would.
Uh, yes, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, yeah. No, my dad in particular even got like early onset. I mean, yeah, no, it's all diseases are terrible, right? But this is something, it's really an X factor because it's like a joke. You see the person is still there and,
And
but
you want to connect. But there's some beautiful stories too that happen in these places when, especially when music brings things out.
yes. Oh, yes, yes.
Good morning. Hello, Henry. John's gonna be here soon.
They're gonna miss you if you don't show up. Let's go. Giddy up.
How can they miss someone they can't even remember? All right, folks, here we go. Any requests?
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I'm here with Laurie Criego. She is the wonderful writer of the beautiful short film Indelible. So thank you for being with us and choosing the festival.
Oh, thank you for including it.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, no, this is such a moving story, so I want to get into it. Is it based on actual events? How did you find the main actor? There's lots to discuss, even though it's a short film.
The main actor is my father.
So he found you, technically.
Yeah, I grew up in a house where he was always playing the piano, and I just thought everybody had music in their lives like that. He was 97 at the time we filmed. We filmed during COVID, and obviously the cast is all older, and then we had one little 5-year-old girl. But my father was in assisted living, and he would play the piano for anybody who would listen. And it was so good for him. So he was the real inspiration, and it never dawned on me that he should be in it. But my husband and the director were like, oh, if he can pull this off, we can do it. We had filmed him, and then he fell and did some damage to his back and couldn't be there for the rest of the film. So we actually have a body double sitting at the piano who's very much the build of my dad in the hat and the sweater, and no one's ever detected that it's not Dad sitting there. So that worked out really, really well. And when I did show it to my father, we weren't sure if he thought he was really entertaining. We weren't sure if he realized he was making a movie. And when I showed it to him, he said, how the hell did I get that old? And so he was, and all that music was filmed or recorded live. So all the mistakes are the real mistakes. We didn't correct anything because a 97-year-old wouldn't play perfectly. And so that was the inspiration watching that. And then I realized how much we don't know about the people who help take care of our families and the other people. Everybody in assisted living has these huge backstories that we never really learn.
Yeah.
And
No,
so
I think you did a marvelous job of capturing those backstories with the effect of how music brings all the memories back. Whenever I hear somebody has Alzheimer's, that's the first thing I tell their caretakers. I'm like, music just is a remedy. Like,
I had on the page very simple things like, and she suddenly flashes back to being a ballerina. And it was our director, Shane Nelson, who really made that come alive. The logistics of how he could show the flashback, that was all his creativity. The how the flashbacks worked weren't on the page.
yeah.
It was much more basic than that. She remembers this, or he remembered playing as a child, and Shane came up with the underwater shots, and he was the perfect find for my first short.
How did you do that? Because I know, like, finding team members can be arduous. So how did you?
Shane tells the story of my husband plays tournament poker, as does Shane. And Shane tells the story. We did quite a few festivals with Indelible, and Shane would tell the story about, yeah, this guy from poker said to me, hey, my wife wants to make a movie. And I went, oh, but it turned out to be Indelible, and it was somebody that my husband knew. And then Shane walked me through the process. I had been writing, but I had never physically produced the movie. And so he was just a perfect partner. And he just loved the music, and he had the patience. Working on a short during COVID with elderly people was not an easy task.
What could you walk us through the logistics? Because I can't imagine. Like,
Well, it started with the auditions. During COVID, everybody was doing Zoom auditions, but these 90-year-olds didn't. So we actually did auditions in person, which was interesting with older people, but I can't picture anybody else cast in these roles. And then the little 5-year-old was somebody who submitted through our casting person. And they just gelled as a group. We were together, I think we shot 4 days. But we had to be very careful about watching their fatigue levels. So we did more breaks probably than would be typical. The cast was very gentle with everybody. Some of the cast would come to me and cry and say, oh, she reminds me of my grandma. And it was just a very special time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I believe that bleeds through in the project. It's really, I want to call it a tearjerker, honestly.
Interestingly enough, a lot of people have said, I want more stories. I want their flashback or their flashback. So I actually have a pitch for it as an anthology series where it's the same group that gets together, and then music. It always starts with music, and then we flash back to either one of the aides or one of the family members or one of the patients in the care of the Alzheimer's place, to their pivotal moments in their lives. Because almost everybody who's watched it says, I want more. I want more of the stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, it does roll. So I'm really glad it touched you, and it hasn't shown in person for a while. So I'm really, I just I love knowing people are going to watch it.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I can relate. My father had Alzheimer's. So I was instantly drawn. But yeah, no, those flashbacks, really well done. They just really bring you into the person's world.
And the music, I think, is recognizable enough. Seth Piaski was our sound guy, who was amazing. And most people don't know that Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is based on a classical piece. And we didn't have the classical part. My dad doesn't play classical. He plays all by ear. And Seth, the sound guy, sat down and played that rapid classical version by ear. It was a magical moment. He said, I think I can do that. And I'm like, well, you can just pull off a classical piece by ear. And he sat down, and the room just went silent. It was amazing when he did that.
Wow. And with Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and the other piece, are those like all public domain already? Was it wow.
I did have to get the license to Fly Me to the Moon, I believe. Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon, I did have to license.
Yeah, because I was surprised. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing, the stuff that's in public domain, because Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, being based on classical music, has been public domain for a very long time.
Gotcha. Yeah. And the little girl is so adorable. And no, it's really just a really moving piece. I could see why people want more. Yeah. What's your background? So you started filmmaking rather recently then. So what was your life previously like?
I had a career as an accountant and for a large computer company and then went into sales for IT consulting. So this is really my fourth career. And then my husband and I had our own business for about over 20 years, which we sold right before COVID. But about 12 years ago, I did the UCLA professional program in screenwriting, which is a online course. And over the course of 9 months, you write 2 screenplays. And it was really fun because I was one of the winners of the student screenplay contest, which gave me confidence to keep going. So I'd been writing as a hobby for a very long time. So I have this pile of scripts in all different stages of development. And when we retired and sold our business, I said, well, now is it, I either have to do it or stop talking about it. It's time to just do it. And so we did the first short, and then we did another short called Monitored. And then you've seen Mother Nature and the Doomsday Prepper. It was probably not the logical choice for a first feature to do, but doors kept opening and the right people kept coming in, and we pulled off that movie thanks to Christian Cashmere. He has a big LED wall, so we could do fantasy. So now I have a feature under my belt, and I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I'd love to be able to do a feature every 18 months or a short every year. So my background, it was a hobby until 2.5 years ago when it became a profession.
Very, very nice. That's so inspiring. That really is. Yeah. Yeah. What's your, okay, so I think this is something I kind of asked you, like I said before, how did you find your director? What are the networking skills you think you could pass on to people? Like the approach, like, hey, I want to do this.
So I've also, because of the film festival circuit, have stayed in touch with people that I met at the film festivals. And we all help each other out now, and we're all pretty good about staying in touch. And I think it was hard for me. I was in sales, but when I was selling someone else's things, it was easy. But when I was talking about my own product, it became hard, and I got shy, and I just had to make myself talk to people. And now there's so many online. You can network with people in different cities and towns, and I think online courses are a great way to connect with other people with similar interests. But and all that said, you find people in the oddest places. Finding the director at the poker table. I wanted to do a short of this feature, and I needed a fantasy world, so I Googled, and I wanted to do it in Florida. I Googled Tampa VFX LED walls, and the director of the feature popped up, and I picked up the phone and called him, which people don't call each other anymore.
Yeah.
And he picked up his phone. And 5 months later, we were filming a feature.
Wow.
Which, that was a Google. The director that did the second short was somebody I met at a film festival. And he and his wife is his AD and organizer, and the two of them came, and we did that one. I wanted to do something very low budget with one actor, and there were 3 in total. Something that I could see all the pieces of it because we were such a tight crew. And they came and stayed at my house, and we filmed the second one in my house in 2 days. So that was probably networking. But I think going to classes, and then reaching out, getting on their Instagrams and their socials and commenting, and you got to put yourself out there, and it's hard.
Yeah, for the introverts, especially the image of a writer just always behind their laptop or in their notebook, what have you. So that I think people, that's sometimes a stumbling block for some. So it's nice to hear words of encouragement, especially, 5 months later, you're shooting with somebody, you have a great cast on that film. Would you like to touch on that a little bit? How you got those actors or anything about working with them?
Yeah, okay, so the main lead, Zip, is Andrew Key, and our director had worked with him before and was very comfortable with him. So I trusted the director on that one. And then we did casting. We looked at submissions. We had thought we were going to do it while the strike was still on, you could get a pass to make a small film. So we got a lot of submissions. And then the local people were pretty much people our director and our casting director knew. Carly Lowland Ringer is the casting director on Mother Nature, and she's got a pretty wide net. I think you'll agree Zeus is probably as well cast as anybody could be.
Yeah.
He's big and 6'7", and
it's amazing. Yeah, see him up next besides other actors, and you're just like, whoa.
Wow. We did have trouble casting the young Benny character. He's supposed to be 14 and gangly. And we just had a really hard time. And so we finally said, well, let's go with somebody over 18 who can play young. And the kid, Jonah McDonald, who plays Benny, is phenomenal. He was 18 when we filmed that. And he could go from 18 to 14 in a nanosecond. So we were really lucky that people were willing to take on an independent, lower budget film and believe in this fantasy, goofy world we created.
Yeah,
so again, that was me just reaching out to Christian.
Wow.
Calling him, reaching out, and luckily he read the script and said, I'll make this short, but I think it's ready. And so we took a deep breath and we went for it. And the cast was so patient and so kind, and we'd lose locations and they'd roll with us while we were rewriting scenes. And it was a phenomenal learning experience for me. I'm sure I got film school in a year and a half. Right now I'm learning all about self-distribution and all the various ways you get your film out there. So, like I said, thank you, because anytime one of the shorts or the features shown in front of a live audience, it gives me such joy. So thank you. Sincere thank you for including it.
My pleasure. I couldn't not, it really spoke to me, and it's really well done. I'm excited for people to see it. Yeah. And I think, older people or people in assisted living or nursing homes are so overlooked and undercounted by society. It's kind of like, I hate to phrase it this way, but I think people just kind of throw them away, especially with Alzheimer's.
Yeah. And the people who care for them are, the families don't always appreciate or include or get to know the people who care for them. And again, they all have fascinating backgrounds. And thank God for them.
Yeah. No, it's really sad. They're almost forgotten. So whenever we can remind people, I hope people watch the film and go, hey, I should go volunteer. Hey, I should go visit so-and-so. Hey, I should go see if a caregiver just wants to go out for a coffee or something. Because I think people see caregivers as, oh, well, they're doing a lot, so I think they'll need something from me. So let me stay away. Let me just go about my own business.
Dad had one caregiver Dad didn't need a lot of care, and he was still pretty mentally active. So one of the aides would play cribbage with him every day. And Dad really looked forward to that. And I don't think I appreciated it enough while he was taking care of Dad. And you learn a lot when you reflect after everything is all over. And so I hope people do, or musicians, stop in and play.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
quick in their faith.